point in postgame. We've got a packed show, but I just got to gauge the temperatures. How we feeling? Feeling good?
Well, I have butterflies.
I do too, actually.
You know how it is, Alan, when you play, whenever you've played in a situation like this, you know, you relive it, you know. And this reminds me of '85 when we had to go back to Boston for Game 6. And had we lost, we would have had Game 7 there. And we just could not allow that to happen. Game 7s they're anybody's ball game. So yeah, I got a little butterflies. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I got the little urgency too, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm feeling it, and I'm happy that the turnaround was rather quick for, guys like Danny Green and Kyle Kuzma and those guys to get a chance to get another crack at it, another swing at it, because I know they're going to be better come today.
Mm-hmm. Beauty about the NBA. Another one comes at you fast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's here with a chance to close it out. The Lakers lose Game 5 of the finals to the Heat, 111-108 on Friday night. Jimmy Butler had 35 points and a triple-double to help Miami avoid elimination. Lakers still had a chance to win it at the end, but Danny Green's shot hit the front of the rim. And then Markieff Morris failed to pass over the head of Anthony Davis. Purple and gold lead the series 3-2. LeBron and Anthony combined for 68 points on 67% shooting in Game 5. But look at the rest of the team. 40 points and shot just 30% from the field, 25% guys from deep. And a lot has been made about the end of that Game 5 and the sequence, how it played out. But in reality, the Lakers supporting cast, James, missed a ton of shots. How much do the Lakers need them to step up outside of LeBron and AD?
Well, you definitely need your surrounding players, and you need your bench to be even, as consistent as they've been all season. They can't afford to have, a poor shooting night. Morris, no points. They struggled. So, LeBron and AD are going to do what they have to do. And in situations like this, as you see Miami, they played that type of ball all year long. When they get player shots, they move it around. The Lakers are the best when they play collectively like that. And when guys like Rondo, Kuz, Caruso, Morris, when those guys are getting steals even, if they're doing it defensively even, that's when they're at their best. So a poor shooting night in the last game, Karan, and I think, given the urgency of this game, I think you might see, hopefully, a different ball game.
Yeah, I saw complete desperation from the side of the Miami Heat. Now, we know that the duo of LeBron James and Anthony Davis is going to perform at a high clip, but I felt like, and KCP as well, he's been remarkable throughout the midst of this finals, but I felt like Danny Green, you talked about Morris, other guys just stepping up and knocking down shot. Kuz, they have to find a way to insert themselves into this game, because the other guys for the Miami Heat are doing a remarkable job. We talk about Nunn, we talk about Robinson, we talk about Hero. All those guys are stepping up in a major way, so they're due for a big game.
On the flip side, someone else who is stepping up and continues to do so, Jimmy Butler, guys, coming off that 35-point triple-double. He had a 40-point triple-double earlier in the series, and we asked ourselves the next day, could he do it again? Well, there it was. But that was off 2 days rest. This is off 1 day rest. Do we expect the same thing from Jimmy tonight? Off just 1 day rest. 47 minutes played.
Yes. I saw in the last game where he was so tired, he was leaning over behind the bucket. He was exhausted. But it's mind over matter with him. I mean, you said it in the last show, one of his quotes, he said, it's win or win for us. You know what I mean? When you hear somebody say that, that almost scares the hell out of you. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, he'll give it his all. And the thing is, they haven't been able to make an adjustment for him as they did with, Harden, as they did with Murray and Denver and Jokic. They just haven't seemed to find some type of adjustment for him. He's that versatile wherever he has the ball. So I expect him to continue to move on. They got to slow down some of the other shooters, though, for sure.
They got a thing in Miami about the culture, keeping the main thing the main thing. Mm-hmm. And Jimmy Butler has kept the main thing the main thing. Now, he haven't been scoring astronomical numbers every game, but he's been solid enough where he has to keep you honest, and he's doing it by the leadership and just imposing his will, competing on both ends of the floor, where he's keeping the Lakers defense honest, and it's opening up the real estate for Tyler Hero, Robertson, Crowder, all these guys to get, clean looks and they're capitalizing on them opportunities.
And he's doing it so confidently. You talked about it the other night. It's not a cockiness. It's a confidence with Jimmy Butler, and it's all on his side right now. Let's get you live to Lakers reporter Mike Trudell, who joins us from down the hall, getting you ready for Game 6. Hello, Mike.
Hey, guys. Nice to see you. My read from what the Lakers are feeling and how they're doing is they're actually really confident heading into this game. They watched the tape. They know that they can play much, much better defensively, and that has been the hallmark of this team throughout the season. A lot of breakdowns, a lot of mistakes, things that are pretty correctable. So that's where I started with Frank Vogel a couple moments ago.
Yeah, of course there is. We got to be better in a lot of ways. You know, there's always things you can do as a coach to, either tweak the rotation or to tweak some of your coverages, and also to just make sure we're doing certain fundamentals of our defense better. And we looked at all of those things, and I expect a stronger defensive performance tonight.
To follow up on what you just mentioned about the rotation, Frank, any indications of changing that or some different groupings that you'd like to see together for this one?
Yeah, we'll look at, we'll talk about the starting lineup. We'll submit it 30 minutes prior, not before then. And, in terms of the other rotations, obviously you guys will have to see that play out throughout the game.
In groups where you've played a lot of guards with 80 at the 5, what have you liked about that arrangement and on offense and defense?
Well, you lose a little bit of size at the rim, but, with a team that really spaces you out, you can benefit from containment speed, penetration speed, having more ball handlers out there. You can benefit from that. But there's always a give and take. You lose some offensive rebounding, and you lose some size at the basket defensively.
Frank, what's the last 48 hours been like for AD, and how's he doing?
Yeah, he's going to have some soreness in there. The hope is once he gets moving up and down the floor, the adrenaline kicks in, that it shouldn't be an issue. He's going to play through it, and he's good to go.
All right, guys, something to monitor that could be interesting here. Ira Winderman, who covers the Heat for the Sun Sentinel, just tweeted that Goran Dragic is active for this game. We don't know if that means he's for sure going to play. We don't know if they're going to make a change to their starting since game 1. But something to keep in mind there that could give the Heat a boost or could disrupt their rhythm. We'll see how that plays out.
Mike, all over it, as always. Well done. Something else to keep an eye on. Guys, check this out. Stadium tweeting out this report from Shams. Just in, Lakers planning to make a starting lineup change. Alex Caruso in place of Dwight Howard. Reports our NBA insider, of course. Frank would not confirm, but that is the report that's out there. Hence why when we saw AC Fresh walking next to Frank Vogel, we all thought, Anthony Davis maybe getting a crack at the 5.
Put me in, Coach.
Put me in, Coach. How do we feel about this?
Coach has inserted guys in the lineup, made changes. He went from starting McGee and then started Dwight Howard.
Yep.
Then he threw Morris in there. So hopefully, these guys are used to it. Dwight Howard, you want him to, still be stable and not let it affect him.
Yep.
And Caruso, I do worry about a little bit because he's used to coming off the bench. And I don't want him to get into early foul trouble because he's extremely aggressive and, he plays defense with a lot of tenacity. So, if he wants to go small, I kind of understand it. But, it's always a risk. So far, it's paid off with Morris and Dwight Howard when he started. So I don't question the coach when he makes a decision. But, I think about, starting or coming off the bench or when I was starting, now I'm not starting kind of a thing and how it affects the mojo of a player.
Yeah, you also think about the production from the bench of the Los Angeles Lakers now that that asset isn't there. Mm-hmm. And
if indeed that does happen.
Well, Frank Vogel's keeping it close to his vest, as he always does. We'll find out in about 15 minutes when the official lineup is put out there, but certainly this move makes some sense. You get to put a strong wing defender on Duncan Robinson from the start, and then also it slides Anthony Davis to center. And the times that that's happened this postseason, Anthony has really had a fire lit under him and seemed to get himself going early in those games. So if it does indeed come to fruition, I think it's a good move by Frank Vogel and the coaching staff.
Here's an interesting new thing. Goran Dragic activated for today's game. We have not seen him since game 1 when he tore that plantar fascia in his foot. What do you think is going to happen with him today?
Yeah, but Brez, I think you and I both covered Pau Gasol back in the day where he had a torn plantar fascia and he was out for 2 to 3 weeks. So I would be surprised if this indicates that Dragic will play. One of the wrinkles to the bubble down here is that if you have a player active on your roster, they don't have to wear a mask like this. So they can be on the bench, they can be more engaged, they can be calling out schemes and plays as they see them. And since Miami only played 7 guys in game 5, it doesn't really hurt to have an extra guy active you don't plan on using.
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, you've been covering the NBA for a while there, done a very great job of it, seen a lot of good battles, a lot of good finals. How about this? LeBron versus Jimmy Butler, their last couple games going head-to-head. Where does that rank on some of your all-time lists?
It's been spectacular just because the series has been so competitive. I mean, LeBron versus Kevin Durant, you're talking about 2 of maybe the top 15, 10 players of all time in that matchup, but those finals only went 5 games and 4 games. The fact that this one's already 6, obviously has a chance to go 7, speaks to how special Jimmy Butler has been. 2 35-point triple-doubles in this finals. The only other guy with 2 in NBA history is LeBron James, and certainly, Miami is a team that is full of, talent from top to bottom, really. Jimmy isn't necessarily so much better than the next player on his team, but he is the type of guy, the way he brings energy and toughness and, just concentration to this assignment, it seems to lift all the guys on this team up. And it's made for a spectacular finals, and I imagine we'll get another competitive game tonight.
Yeah, great stuff there for sure. Dave, before we let you go, kind of a serious note. We heard from Danny Green earlier today. What are your thoughts on what he's been going through since he missed that big shot at the end of Game 5?
Yeah, I mean, if there's anybody out there listening to Spectrum Sportsnet, tuning in tonight and watching this broadcast, who is also on their phone, going on Instagram and threatening the life of Danny Green and his fiance, or going on Twitter and doing that, you might as well tune out and stop watching Laker games for the rest of your life, because that's not what this is about, people. It's a basketball game. He's a professional. He took the shot that was presented to him. He missed it. Okay, guess what? If his coaching staff and his teammates can support him in that moment, who are you as a fan to threaten his life? So it just super disappointing, and it really, to me, is a symptom of what our country's going through right now. It's disheartening that we have to talk about this before what will be potentially a crowning moment for a Lakers franchise that's waited a long time for this.
Yeah, Dave, great words there. Really appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Allie, take it away, please. And remember, it is really just a game.
No doubt about it, Brez. I second that of Dave McMenamin. Well said. Thanks to the both of you. Straight ahead on Access, Lakers head coach Frank Vogel was turnovers. After the Game 5 loss, Lakers head coach Frank Vogel expressed his frustration with some of the officiating.
It's a tough loss. There's no doubt about it. We were very close. I felt 2 bad calls at the end put Butler to the line. And that's unfortunate in a game of this magnitude. Anthony Davis has a perfect verticality. Okay, it should be a play on. And then the time before that, Markieff Morris has his hand on the ball. That should be a play on. Okay, they would give him 4 free throws and make it uphill battle for us. So very disappointed in that aspect of the game. And but our group's fine. Okay, we're going to bounce back strong. We'll have a better performance in Game 6, and we got to play better for the 48 minutes leading up to that last minute.
Now, the League 2-minute report confirmed that the calls were indeed correct, guys. But hey, you got to love seeing the fight for his guys that Frank Vogel showed there.
And that's exactly what he's doing. He's not wrong, but universally he's not right either. Yeah. When you're talking about, look, that was a great call by the officials. Anthony Davis wasn't vertical on that play. In fact, he did go over. But I love the fact that he's fighting for his guys. He's keeping them engaged, because that is a deflating moment during the course of a game where you get a call like that. Jimmy Butler goes, knocked down 2 free throws, and obviously the momentum favored the Miami Heat after that. But he's doing one hell of a job on the sideline, making sure that he's keeping everyone engaged, keeping them committed, and keeping that urgency from all his guys and demanding that urgency. So, look, it didn't come down to just that one play. It came down to a bunch of plays and opportunities that either we fell short on or we just, didn't complete. So today is a great opportunity to get back at it, plug and play, and finish the job.
Yeah, coaches like to play that chess game every now and then. He's also trying to look at the discrepancies between, what Butler's getting and what maybe LeBron is not getting. Yeah. Butler gets some calls where sometimes he does cause contact, but he knows what he's doing. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think he cares about the calls, like you said. Protect my players and maybe play a little mind game with the referees. So I can get some calls. Butler gets to the line a lot. LeBron gets bumped a lot, so try to equal that out as well.
Not many are a big fan of that 2-minute report to begin with, so when it doesn't come out in your favor, this is the one silver lining to know that your coach had your back when it comes to that. This is interesting, guys. Jay Crowder of the Heat gave this quote to Chris Haynes of Yahoo Sports on the extra motivation Miami had in winning Game 5. He said, "You're hearing how they're putting on the black jerseys and bleep and how they haven't lost a game in those, and people start talking about that. That is motivation, and it is always going to get under your skin a little bit." And look, guys, however people find their motivation, it came for the Heat there in Game 5, and you just hope that the Lakers found some sort of motivation in that loss that they're going to use towards Game 6.
Well, he has to know what the black jerseys are all about. They're Kobe jerseys, and you never know when you're going to close out. So I don't think that quote was warranted. They're wearing them because in memory of Kobe. They're up 3-1. They just wearing it because of Kobe. So, yeah, I think he could have saved that one.
Yeah, he definitely could have said something different. But as a competitor, you're always looking for something. So if you go into the locker room, the speech has to change. Eric Spoelstra might come in there and say, keeping the main thing is the main thing. Win your matchup. Now he's saying, you know what? They got on these Black Mamba jerseys, and they're trying to close this thing out. They're saying this thing is over. They got the trophy out in the Louis Vuitton case.
The confetti streamers are out.
They're ready to put up the gold rope. How do you guys feel about that? And I think that was added motivation for the Miami Heat team to go out there and do it.
I would reverse it and put that quote up.
I was just going to say.
On the board and say, okay, let's go.
Yep.
Game 6 tips off in about 30 minutes on ABC.
I had more time than I realized. Should have took more time. Probably rushed it a little bit. A little off balance, but we got a good look. We got a second opportunity, and if I can get that play back again, I'll give anything to get that shot back again. Trust me. You're gonna make some, you're gonna miss some. It's part of the game. I've been in that situation plenty of times. I've made some, and I've missed some. Unfortunate. It was for us to close out the series. It's been great to win it, but any person that plays sports, any person that plays basketball knows it doesn't come down to that last play. It's not always about, it's never only on one play. And we could have did so many different things throughout that game. So many mistakes we made, so many things offensively and defensively where we could have changed where it didn't have to come down to the last play.
Hey, Danny, Blair posted something on Instagram about death threats. Is there anything that you have felt like you needed to contact security about related to that?
I haven't really I just block, ignore. I've gotten so many messages I can't even hit the delete all button because I guess my Instagram just won't recycle it. I don't know, but so many, but I just don't read them. I know she doesn't get as many, and she doesn't have as many followers, so it's probably close. She can see more of it. I said, I don't pay attention. I had to ask her yesterday. I said, you getting death threats? She's like, yeah, you are too. I was like, well, I don't know because I don't really pay attention or care. Nor am I shaking a word about it. I'm just not one of those type of people. I probably should be a little more paranoid or more safe about things, but I am safe usually. In certain scenarios, most scenarios, I grew up in Texas, so we grew up in a different type of household where weapons were allowed there. But I'm just not one of those guys that's going to live my life that way, worried about what other people think, say, or do. I'm usually protected. I'm usually safe. I'm usually okay and confident and secure in my own mind and my own home.
Look, guys, you guys have played a lot of hoops in your life. You understand this fan base to its core. And though that reaction, the death threats to Danny and to his beautiful fiance, they have no place. It's a bogus reaction. And it's not from the majority of the Laker fan base. However, it is out there. So from a player's perspective, Big Game, I'll start with, have you ever received something like that or any kind of feedback when you were a player? Can you shed any kind of light on what Danny's experiencing right now?
Yeah, never, you don't take this lightly, first of all, because it's a threat. You never know what crazy is out there. But I remember missing 2 free throws in college, and all I had to do was hit one to kind of, make the spread or something, and I missed both of them. I didn't get any death threats, but I got some pretty nasty letters about, you should have hit one, blah, blah, blah. But there's no room for something like this in sports. I mean, guys are going to miss shots from time to time. So I don't know. Some people are crazy out there. There's a pandemic going on. I know people are crazy gamblers out there, and sometimes they go a little nuts and then they blame it on the athlete. So I hope that's not the case. But, Danny is a proven veteran. He's hit many shots, and he does a lot on the defensive end that we don't see. It's just unfortunate that, people out there, creating these type of situations.
Yeah.
Not good for the game.
Yeah, me personally, I never experienced anything like that, but, I'm hoping and pushing for the safety of, Danny Green and his fiance and his family. Hopefully that they do take those threats still serious, but, moving by the wayside and continue on with his craft, because this guy's a 2-time champion. He's a shot maker and a shot taker, and makes and misses is part of the game, and I think that he will be better today, but it does not warrant the energy of someone to inject that out there into the world, saying that, sending death threats and things like that. That's just not called for.
Absolutely not. Thank you. Well said by the both of you. When it comes to the basketball aspect, Danny Green was obviously the one who missed the shot, but LeBron James, guys, is also getting criticized for the play that he made. We know LeBron, 10 times out of 10, he's going to make the right play. Where do we stand on what we saw in Game 5 and how it unfolded, starting with LeBron? Made the right play?
Hell yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it was in the right guy's hands to make the decision. Obviously AD would have been an option, but he drew the defense, exactly what he wanted to do. He didn't want to pick up a charge or try to force the issue. They were protecting the rim pretty good, and he found Danny Green, and that was the shot that was there. And what happened after that, we wish we could change that a little bit, but I like what happened. It's got in LeBron's hand, and he made the decision. Now, if he knocks that shot down,
no one's talking about it.
He's great.
Yep.
Yeah, and if Danny goes out and shoots lights out tonight, he's owed an apology, for that craziness.
Immediately. Look, LeBron James is arguably the best all-around basketball player ever. So for him to be in that position where you had 3 Miami Heat defenders coming at you, where he had to possibly hoist up a awkward shot, he could have probably taken a forced opportunity, but he made the proper and right basketball play to an open teammate who 9 times out of 10 will knock that down when he's not being defended, and the shot just fell short. Now, you got to give a ton of credit to the rotation of the Miami Heat. Andre Iguodala ran Danny Green off that shot where the pass was kind of by his wayside. He had to gather it and then try to follow through and make that shot. So, look, it's a make-and-miss lead. He missed that opportunity. They'll be better tonight.
Both those guys want that moment back, and luckily for them, they get another opportunity as we started the show.
The beauty of
6
sports.
moments out. Check this out before we continue, and I'm talking about everyone out there who's doing it, criticizing LeBron James, just how dominant he is. Of course, he matches the Diesel with 5 finals games apiece of at least 40 points and 10 boards. And with that, it's time now to welcome in our Lakers insider, Mike Bresnahan, for your 3-point play. Brez, we want to check out 3 things that you were looking forward to in this game, and you'll continue the conversation with some thoughts on LBJ.
Yeah, why not? Love what everyone just said now, and for sure, he's a little actually below the radar right now, in my opinion. Shot 71% in Game 5, made 6 threes. But everyone's talking about Jimmy Butler, and rightly so, I guess. The Heat won, but I'm impressed with what LeBron has been doing throughout this final series. His numbers are amazing. His threes are really on point as well. He made 6 in Game 6. By the way, he's only 6 behind Kobe Bryant for the most threes ever by a Laker in a postseason run. So LeBron James, Jimmy Butler getting all the news and the noise right now, but I'll stick with LeBron for Game 6 tonight.
Pretty impressive. From one vet to another, Brez, Rajon Rondo. You want a little bit more from him.
Yeah, he was great in the Western Conference semifinals, also good in the West Finals against Denver. The finals, though, there you see the numbers not as good for Rondo. The field goal percentage down, the points down, the assists. Remember, in the first couple rounds that he played, he was about 8 or 9 assists a game, seemingly every single time. He's not quite connecting with his teammates right now. Also missed his last 8 3-point shots. And they're letting him shoot, too. I mean, that's what the Miami defense does when they're in that zone. Dare the Lakers shooters to go ahead and hoist them. And Rondo's been doing that, and they just have not been falling for him.
And finally, you want more production as well from the Lakers bench as a whole. What more numbers do you have on them?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Tyler Hero, he's the only guy to score for the Miami reserves the other night. He scored as many points as the entire Laker bench combined, 14 points right there. So guys like Rondo and Markieff and Kuzma really need to get it going and get it going quickly. You know, even Markieff had the big offensive rebound in the final seconds and then threw the ball away, trying to hook up with the AD down low. But the bench has been solid throughout the playoffs, top 5 in scoring pretty much since round 1. But if ever there's a time for the reserves to jump up and help out, Allie, it is in about half an hour from now, if not a little bit sooner than that, when they start checking into the game.
No doubt. Absolutely. Well done. As always, Brez, we'll see you rebounds and 11 dimes. Jimmy Buckets played 47 minutes in the Heat's win, and he was feeling every one of them.
I left it all out there on the floor, along with my guys, and that's how we're going to have to play from here on out. Like I always say, it's win to win for us. But this is the position that we're in. We like it this way. We got 2 more in a row to get.
Jimmy, you've obviously had plenty of big games in your career, but why do you think in this moment on this stage you've been able to continually go to the well and lift your own performance night to night?
Because that's what my team asks of me. That's what they need me to do. And I think Coach Pat and Coach Spo brought me here for that reason, to help us win games. And I have to continue to do that for 2 more games. I know that I'm capable of it, but I got a hella group of guys around me that make my job a lot easier. I'm fortunate for those guys because when I'm passing them, they make shots. When I get beat going to the rim, they're there. So we're in this thing together, but they give me a lot of confidence to go out there and hoop.
Jimmy, you've been defending LeBron for a number of years, going back to Chicago. When he's hitting the jumper like that, how do you stay calm and stay disciplined?
I mean, if you're the best player in the world, you're supposed to be able to do that. We keep our head high knowing that he's going to hit some tough ones. That's what really, really, really great players do. But we ain't backing down. We ain't shying away. We can go on the other end and do what we do. I think he had a hell of a performance tonight, along with AD, the whole team. But we still fighting. We in it to win it. We're not backing down. We're not scared of nobody.
Jimmy Butler has become quite the soundbite. Time for a little Access 360, Karan. The Lakers had some breakdowns defensively, starting with that guy right there in Game 5. Break it down for us.
Hey, listen, Mr. Big Face Coffee, man. He's done a remarkable job at look, I'm giving him ads and everything for his campaign and his business, but he's done a remarkable job at just keeping the main thing, but showing that platinum leadership on the big stage. And I love the fact that if you're a Miami Heat fan and you're seeing this matchup situation, probably why you're going to see a different lineup by us today with the Los Angeles Lakers. Look at Jimmy identifying that Green is watching, being caught ball watching, and rightfully so, he's in the paint. That is a dangerous area. But Robinson, you can't lose him, and Jimmy just does an excellent job at finding him. Now, look at the defense of the Lakers. LeBron worrying about Jimmy Butler, rightfully so. You're going to see an outside screen. Now, they're in an invert on the weak side, but it's multiple bodies, and they're dropping too far with Jimmy with a live dribble. Hero is just going to step right out where no screen is really set, and he pops out for a wide-open shot. Once again, you're going to see a flat screen right here. Kyle Kuzma, he has to communicate or jump aside. You cannot have Jimmy Butler with a live dribble going downhill, attacking the defense, and Morris coming over at the right position, but just a little too late. Jimmy dumps it off the bam and get him going offensively. Now, Crowder does a remarkable job, usually with spot up, space, give Jimmy the real estate necessary needed. But this was a huge play in the game. AD did not go up vertically, got the foul. Jimmy Butler knocks down the free throws, and that really gave Miami the momentum to close that game.
Well done. If it's not Jimmy Butler, though, in this series and throughout the playoffs, they have had guys to step up. We've seen it done from Tyler Hero. The other night, it was Duncan Robinson. 26 points, a career night, 7 threes. Again, we talk about what Jimmy Butler is saying. He said it right after that game. Duncan Robinson is going to be the reason why we win Game 6. They cannot let him beat them tonight if you're the Lakers.
Yeah. When the coach says stay at home and don't lose him, you really have to zone in on that. Plus, I haven't seen a shooter like him. You know, Reggie Miller was that type of shooter. As soon as it hits his hands, he's shooting. He doesn't need a rhythm. He doesn't need to be squared up. He squares up as he turns sometimes. But you cannot stunt off of him and help. And I know the tendency for most players when somebody's driving downhill is to try to stunt in and help a little bit. You cannot do that. You also, on weak side, when things are happening on the strong side, you better not lose sight of him. If you turn for a second and he's gone, and he's into a shooting area where he knocks him down. So it takes a specific mindset to play somebody like that because he's extremely dangerous. Catch and shoot as soon as it touches his hand. So you got to stay connected to him.
Yeah, on the defensive side of the floor, the Lakers have to be engaged, and now the scouting report has changed. Your synapses got to be firing on the defensive end where you know that Robinson's able to knock down three-point shots. Now that's going to open it up for who? Crowder, Hero. And if Gordon is back, now he's penetrating and getting into the lane and creating opportunities in one-on-one situations for Bam and Jimmy Butler. So I just think that you have to really just have that urgency. You got to shrink the floor, get out to your man, and just impose your will on the game.
And be engaged, as you mentioned.
Be engaged.
It's
Start to finish.
It's the man they call Dragon, I believe. Game 6, it's minutes away.